Chapter 1. Berlin, May 1999. Reiner checked his watch as he waited by the elevator. Within the next 60 seconds, the elegant Frau Dr. Sachs, her chic, shoulder-length hair dyed the color of a concert grand, would leave her penthouse apartment for her office at number 18 on the fashionable Friedrichstrasse. Dr. Sachs was a creature of habit. That always made things easier. The hallway had a thick ice-blue carpet and smelled of fresh paint. Reiner liked these new Potsdamer Platz buildings, where a penthouse apartment cost a small fortune. With the doctor's specialty of blackmail, he supposed she could afford it. He himself didn't mind helping people with problems when the price was right. The distinguished Hanoverian judge Gerhard Tempelmann had confided that he was in desperate need of help. Tempelmann's whole world was about to come crashing down. The judge explained that 3 weeks ago he had driven to Berlin to accept an honorary degree from Humboldt, the University of Marx, Engels, and the brilliant Einstein. That night, on the way back to his hotel after celebrating with old friends, he got lost driving the dark, narrow streets sandwiched between the university and the river. Confused and slightly tipsy, he failed to see the bicycle rider. In his rear-view mirror, her mangled, lifeless body lay smeared across the road. He was quite certain that the young woman was dead. There was nothing he could do to help her. But Dr. Sachs, out walking her poodle Schatzi near the banks of the Spree, had witnessed the accident and seen his car racing away across the bridge. When the first letter arrived in his mailbox postmarked Berlin, it asked for 10,000 marks. The judge knew there would be others. One careless second, and everything good and meaningful in his life seemed about to be destroyed. "If there's anything you could do," he begged Reiner. There would be no questions, he promised, and money was no object. The next day the judge had 50,000 marks ready for Reiner. It was a pleasure to work for such a man. As the penthouse door opened, Reiner hit the elevator button and the light popped on. He ran his hand over his long blonde hair, straightened his silk Hermes tie. In a case like this, it was always important to make a good first impression. Dr. Sachs was dressed all in black leather. Even the expensive Italian briefcase she carried was black leather, probably bought in the West on the Ku'damm at the sleek Mandarinenduck, the shop featuring specially treated calf leather, waterproof and scratch-resistant. Utterly impervious to dangers of all sorts. "Guten Morgen," he said brightly. "Morgen," snapped Sachs. She had a busy day ahead of her. She banged the elevator button. "What's keeping it?" She looked up at him and decided that she liked the young man's tie, the directness of his gaze. He had the most compelling blue eyes she'd ever seen. He was worth a smile. "Here we are," said Reiner, as the door began to slide open. He motioned for her to go first, but Dr. Sachs hardly needed any prompting. She stepped forward, and only at the last second saw the empty elevator shaft yawning at her feet. Frantic, she clawed the air and somehow managed to pull herself back. "Scheiße!" she cried, struggling to catch her breath. "I almost fell in." A palm to the small of her back sent Sachs screaming down the shaft, her shrieks trailing after her like a torn parachute.